Welcome everyone to today's hearing on H.R. 3438, the Require Evaluation Before Implementing Executive Wish List Acts of 2015, and H.R. 2631, the Regulatory Predictability for Business Growth Act of 2015. And I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Today, this subcommittee continues its overall regulatory reform agenda by examining the targeted reforms to the U.S. regulatory process contained in two straightforward bills. I'm honored that we can take a good look at H.R. 2631, the Regulatory Predictability for Business Growth Act, a bill offered by my colleague, Congressman Steve Russell of Oklahoma. H.R. 2631 addresses a recent Supreme Court decision that upended the process by which agencies can change its own interpretive rules. How to address this change is an important question for us to consider today. Today, this subcommittee will also examine my bill, the Review Act. Over the last decade, our nation has faced a costly and unprecedented regulatory onslaught. During this period, the size and scope of federal regulation has ballooned to epic proportions. Long-standing executive branch policies have mandated additional scrutiny for, and I quote, significant regulatory action, end quote, i.e. those rules with an annual effect on the economy of $100 million or more. But regulatory hubris has flown past these common sense concerns as agencies more frequently propose mega rules with annual cost in excess of $1 billion. But as these monstrous regulations become more frequent, an average of 3 per year during the Obama administration and 6 in 2014 alone, it almost seems that nothing can curtail these potential to damage our economy. This bill is one more step in this subcommittee's continuing effort to put forth common sense regulatory reform measures for the benefit of American workers. The Review Act presents a simple premise that massive billion-dollar regulations should face full and thorough review by the courts before they become effective and force compliance costs on businesses across the country. It achieves this goal through a simple and straightforward mechanism, a mandatory stay of any billion-dollar rule if it is challenged in court within 60 days of its promulgation. Some observers might insist that the reforms in this bill are unnecessary. But just this summer, in the Supreme Court's decision in Michigan versus EPA, we saw firsthand the irreparable harm can occur as a result of expansive, costly, and poorly crafted regulation. In this case, the court found that the EPA has promulgated its utility MACT rule through a faulty process and on legally infirm grounds because it chose not to consider cost when promulgating the rule. In this case, the costs of the rule were estimated by the EPA itself as $9.6 billion per year. In return, the EPA's best estimate of potential benefits were in the range of a mere $4 to $6 million annually. As Justice Antonin Scalia wrote in his opinion for the court, and I quote, "One would not say that it is even rational, never mind appropriate, to impose billions of dollars in economic cost in return for a few dollars in health or environmental benefits. Unfortunately for workers, homeowners, and taxpayers across the country, the utility MACT rule remained in effect as litigation took years to work itself to a final decision at the Supreme Court. Over this time, electricity providers were forced to close power plants as they faced uncertain compliance burdens. Jobs were lost, and electricity costs to consumers rose as a result. Until recently, regulations with billion-dollar annual price tags were a rare occurrence. Since 2006, however, we have seen 26 in total. The Review Act is a step in the right direction to address this growing concern. It also provides a bit of certainty to the American people that massive billion-dollar regulations must pass legal muster before their costs are passed on. I thank the chairman for joining me on this bill, and I look forward to hearing from today's esteemed panel.